You know, in the entire orchid world, there are a few flowers that just stop you in your tracks. And right at the top of that list is this one, the Miltoniopsis. Its blooms are so unbelievable, it's earned a very, very fitting nickname.
It's called the Pansy Orchid, and you can see why, right? That stunning, flat face looks almost exactly like a garden pansy. It's the kind of beauty that makes you go, I have to have that in my house. And that right there is usually where the trouble starts.
Because for all its beauty, this plant is famous for being, well, impossible. It's got this reputation for being incredibly fussy, totally unforgiving, and just quick to die. It leaves even really good growers scratching their heads. But here's the thing, it's not actually impossible. The secret is buried in a long history of mistaken identity.
To figure out how to keep a pansy orchid happy, we have to go back in time. We need to unravel a huge botanical mix-up that started more than 150 years ago and created almost a century of absolute confusion for anyone trying to grow them.
So, here's the story. Back in 1837, botanists created a genus for these warm-weather orchids from Brazil, and they call it Miltonia. Simple enough. But then, decades later, explorers find these totally different, spectacular orchids way up high in the cool Andes Mountains, our pansy orchids. They look kind of similar, so they got tossed into the same group. Now, even though some experts realized the mistake and proposed a new name, Miltoniopsis, way back in 1889, it took until 1976 for everyone to officially agree they were different. Think about that. For nearly 100 years, people were using the completely wrong instructions.
So the takeaway is simple. They are not the same plant. And what's really cool about this is there's one dead giveaway to tell them apart. Just look at the top of the pseudobulb. That's that little swollen part at the base of the leaves. A true Miltoniopsis, our cool-growing pansy orchid, has only one single leaf coming out of the top. The warm-growing Miltonia has two. That's it. That's the secret handshake. Treating a cool-loving, single-leaf Miltoniopsis like its warm-loving, two-leafed cousin is the #1 most fatal mistake you can make.
Okay, so now that we've cleared up its identity, the next step is to understand exactly where this orchid comes from. The key to keeping it alive isn't some secret formula. It's about copying the very specific conditions of its home, the high-altitude cloud forests of the Andes Mountains.
First things first, humidity. You have to remember, these plants literally live inside of clouds. They are constantly surrounded by moisture. That means they need, at a bare minimum, 70% relative humidity. Anything less than that, and the plant starts to stress out immediately.
Next up is temperature. And it's not just about keeping it cool. It's about a specific daily rhythm. The plant has to have a temperature drop of at least 15 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 8 degrees Celsius. From the daytime high to the nighttime low. That drop is the biological alarm clock that tells the orchid, okay, it's time to make flowers. If you don't give it that drop, you'll get plenty of leaves, but you won't get those gorgeous pansy blooms.
And finally, we have to talk about light. Up in a cloud forest, the sun is bright, but it's always filtered through the clouds. So this orchid can take about 2,000 foot candles of light max. If you're wondering what that looks like, just imagine the dappled light you'd find sitting under a big leafy tree. Direct sun? No way. It will absolutely scorch those thin, delicate leaves.
All right, so the environment is dialed in, but the two hurdles where almost everyone stumbles are water quality and just getting the watering right. The good news is, this orchid is super vocal about what it needs. You just have to learn its language.
And this is its loudest signal. You've probably seen this before, the accordion leaf. It's when a new leaf comes out looking all crinkled up and pleated. Now, this isn't a disease or a pest, it's a permanent scar. It's a physical photograph of a moment in time when the plant was stressed out from a lack of water right when that leaf was trying to grow. So how does this actually happen? Well, when the air gets too dry or the potting mix dries out, the water pressure inside the plant drops. The brand new super soft leaf gets a little sticky and gets caught on the inside of its protective sheath. But the leaf doesn't stop growing from the base, and since the tip is stuck, it has nowhere to go. It just buckles and folds on itself. It's a totally mechanical problem, and it's a huge warning sign that your humidity or your watering schedule is all over the place.
But you know what's even worse than inconsistent watering? Using the wrong kind of water. This, right here, is the silent killer. The roots on a Miltoniopsis are incredibly fine and delicate, and they are super sensitive to chemicals. I'm talking about the chlorine and fluoride that's in almost all of our tap water. To this plant, that stuff is basically poison. It causes those ugly brown leaf tips and kills the roots. Same goes for salt buildup from fertilizers. For a pansy orchid, using pure water, like rainwater or distilled or reverse osmosis water, it's not a suggestion. It's an absolute must for it to survive.
Okay, so we've untangled the history, we've decoded its environment, and we've learned how to read its warning signs. Now, let's put all those pieces of the puzzle together. Let's build a clear, simple plan to take this supposedly impossible orchid from just barely hanging on to being an absolute showstopper.
Here it is. This is the blueprint for success. Number 1, repot it every single year. They hate breaking down potting mix. Use a fine mix that holds water. Number 2, commit to pure water always. Rainwater, RO, distilled, no cheating with the tap. 3, feed it gently. They don't need a lot of fertilizer, so only use it at 1/4 strength when it's actively growing. 4, keep the air moving. Gentle, constant airflow is key to preventing fungus in that high humidity. And finally, number 5, you must guarantee that cool winter temperature drop to get it to set buds. That's it. These 5 rules are the solution to the entire mystery.
So is the pansy orchid really impossible? Not a chance. It's just precise. It's not a plant that forgives you if you mess up. But as we've seen, none of its needs are random. They all point directly back to its home in the cloud forest. Success with this orchid has nothing to do with luck or having a green thumb. It's about applying this knowledge and paying attention. So the real question is, now that you know the rules of the game, is this a challenge you're ready to take on?